Okay, class. So we went over adding and subtracting while solving equations. Now we're going to go over multiplying and dividing. So as you can see, I have multiplication here. I have 3x is equal to 12. Now, what I'm going to do is to try to get the x all by itself. In order to do that, I have to divide by 3. The inverse operation of multiplication is division. So I'm going to go ahead and divide by 3. So 12 divided by 3 is going to be equal to 4. And it works because if I go ahead and plug in 3 times 4 is going to be equal to 12. 3 times 4 is 12. 12 equals 12, so our equation is balanced out. Now, let's go ahead and take a look over here at the model. So I have 3 x's, right? I'm going to go ahead and divide by 3. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in groups of 3. So as you can see, this is one group of 3. This is 2 groups of 3. This is 3 groups of 3. And then this is our 4th group of 3. So as you can see, for each of these, 1, 2, 3 of them, there are 4 of them in each. All right? So for those 3 groups, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 total. So x is going to be equal to 4. Now, let's go ahead and do another multiplication example. Let's say we have 3x is equal to 36. 3x is equal to 36. Now I'm going to go ahead and divide by 3, divide by 3. So in this case, x has to equal 12. Okay? Let's go ahead and try a couple more. Let's say that I have 6x equals 48. Let me go ahead and switch to colors. So I'm going to divide by 6 and divide by 6. So x is going to be equal to 6 times what is 48? 6 times what is 48? So I'm going to go ahead and think, of course, 6 times 8 is going to be 48. So x is going to be equal to 8. All right. Let's try one with a negative. So 0.5x is going to be equal to 6. So same thing. I want to go ahead and get the x all by itself. So I'm going to go ahead and divide by negative 0.5. Okay. The reason why I'm dividing by negative is because I have negative 0.5 over here. So I'm going to go ahead and divide by negative 0.5. So 6 divided by negative 0.5. Basically think about it like this. How many halves are in 6? And there are 12 halves, so our answer is going to be negative 12. Okay? Now, let's go ahead and take a look at some division problems. Let's say we have x over 4 is going to be equal to 2. Okay, so we have a division problem. We're going to perform the inverse operation, which is multiplication. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply each side by 4. Now when I multiply this by 4, the 4's cancel out. So I get x all by itself. Now I just have to do the other side. 2 times 4 is going to be equal to 8, and that's my answer. Try a couple more division. Let's try red now. So x over 7 is going to be equal to negative 5. Now, I have a negative on this side, but I'm going to multiply by a positive 7 to get this x all by itself. So multiplied by positive 7 is going to be equal to negative 35. So x is negative 35. That makes sense because negative 35 divided by 7 will give us that negative 5 back. Okay, let's go ahead and try another example. So this one is going to look a little bit different. So this is going to be more for my advanced students. So 2/3 of x equals 6. Now, I'm going to go ahead and think about it. It can be a multiplication problem. It can be a division problem. I'm going to think of this as a multiplication problem. So it's basically saying 2/3 of times x is going to be equal to 6. So I'm going to go ahead and divide. I'm dividing, but to divide a fraction means to multiply by its reciprocal. So I have to go ahead and flip this number here. So other side has to be multiplied by 3 over 2. To multiply this side out, 6 times 3 is going to be equal to 18. 1 times 2 is going to be equal to 2. This side over here just cancels out because 3 times 2 is 6, 2 times 3 is 6. So what I basically have over here is 6 over 6x, which is basically 1x. So 1x is just x. So now I have x equals 9. Okay, so that was a little bit different. So let's go ahead and give it another try. Let's try, take 2/3 again. Let's say 2/3 is being multiplied in order to equal to, let's say, 4. Okay, let me go ahead and switch my color. So in order to get rid of this 2/3, I have to multiply by its reciprocal. Multiply by its reciprocal. So this cancels out to get x all by itself. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 over 2 is 6. So x is going to be equal to 6. Okay, and that's multiplying and dividing, solving equations.